Yeah, the Chook. No, the Titans.
Titans?
I can do the Roosters if you want.
Yeah, the Roosters.
Where the hell did the Roosters go? No, they've not for ages.
The Roosters ran 7th. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're down there. We're doing Titans. Titans.
7th,
A well-oiled machine.
11th, 6th. Come on, bro. The
All right,
Titans
all right,
are
we'll do Roosters.
freaking...
No, we'll do Roosters. It's fine, fine. Roosters, mate. Fuck me.
The Titans are 8 teams away.
The Roosters. What? No, they're not. They're up here. The Roosters. This year they've lost Corey Allen, who's gone to the Dragons, and then since, unfortunately, done himself a mischief or missed the year. Fletcher Baker, Deacon, Eli Elizakam, Tuku Hautapua, Drew Hutchinson, Carol, why am I reading these? Lodge, Morovsky, Paulo, Turpin, have all gone. Picked up Spencer Leniu, Lewis Murphy, Ethan Roberts, Blake Steep, Xavier Vae, Alex Young, and Dom Young. How's their draw look?
What have I got here? Roosters are one of the pretty much middles. From what I remember, they've got 5 games against the bottom 3 last year out of a possible 6. So that probably leads to an easier draw, to be honest.
No, they got a good draw.
Yeah, they do, and they've only got 6 games against the top 4. So that's as it works out, they've got quite a decent draw with. A lot of games against the teams that finish down the bottom of the ladder. So
They play the Broncos, Raiders, Bulldogs, Seagulls, Storm, Eels, Bunnies, Dragons twice, and 14 games against last year's bottom 9. Their best, and this is contentious, but their best 17. Teddy at fullback, Tupou on the wing, Swali and Manu. What are you doing? Share with the
showing him
class.
the list that you sent me about the Roosters being right down the bottom of the page. They're the fucking 4th team. Anyway.
Manu.
Would have helped
the
if I
other
got that
centre.
fucking list.
Dom Young, Keary and Walker. Jared Weir-Hargraves at 8, but he's out round 1. Smith at hooker, Collins at 10. I've got the Butcher Boys who's starting in their back row, but I've been wrong before. Victor Radley at 13. Connor Watson will, I'm sure, come back and play 14. Leniu on the bench, Wong on the bench, Crichton on the bench. Obviously, Wong and Crichton could easily start in that back row. Tupanua's in the mix. They've got White, they've got Terrell May, all first-grade forwards that they've got a crowbar into this team. Anyone that I didn't mention you reckon might make that 17?
Did you say Leniu?
Yeah, on the bench.
Okay.
The same with the centres. They've got 5 centres that only fit. 6 outside backs
Billy,
that fit
I
into 5.
didn't mention Billy Smith, who was back last year.
And was very good
Yeah.
at the back end of last year. Was one of their better players for a big part of the end of last season. Makes it hard with some of the guys that they've brought into this team. I don't think you've really missed anyone there in that 17. I think you're pretty close. Angus, I think Angus or Wong may take that spot in front of not Nat Egan.
I had Angus in the start in the.
I think they like
first.
Egan as an opportunity to play through the middle as well.
Yeah.
So just for mine, I think the bench probably suits them better as an overall setup.
Yep.
But neither here or there, realistically, because I can't see Crichton playing much time in the middle.
No,
Being
you're right.
More camping out on that
he's
edge.
now had a proper pre-season. From reports, he's back. If he's back and he's starting, I'll be buying you in Supercoach, by the way. It's a different story.
Wong can play a bit of middle as well, so that I think they may just push Angus out there to start the season, whether it stays that way. I'd be very surprised if Wong doesn't end up in that left edge by the end of the season, but we'll see how they line up for round 0.
The Roosters' style of play, Barney. What do you get from them?
Very mixed and in between the Roosters. They can play one type of footy one week and absolutely not know what's going on the week after. Got very confused with sitting out Sam Walker last year, who was who is their 7 and one of the more organised players in getting players into position in their attack. A little bit selfish sometimes with the way he kicks for himself and would prefer to run rather than let the ball go to some of his outside backs. Very strong forward pack who they love the physical stuff in the middle, especially our mate who used to get suspended for half the season, and Jared Weir-Hargraves. But they're not going to take a backward step in the middle of the field. They've got some skillful outside backs who don't really offload as much as they used to. When you remember back to some of the guys that used to be in that team 10 years ago, but we're not talking about 10 years ago, are we? little bit sort of one-dimensional in the forwards, but they will hold the majority of other forward packs as well.
Yes.
Once the ball gets outside the 6 and the
And
7.
all their forwards work their ass off. The Butcher boys work their
100%.
ass off. Lindsay Collins,
Went to another
him and
level last year.
Horsburgh were the two that just became
Jumped out the ground.
fantastic players last year. And obviously Victor, if he stays on the field, is another one who will work his ass off defensively, as will Angus Crichton as well. So
Pretty well drilled defensive squad, even though they did have some issues out wide last year. Their middle generally doesn't get opened up too often, but it did a little bit more last year than it has done previously. Some very talented outside backs, very strong ball runners in the likes
biggest outside backs in the country. I think all of them are over 6'3".
Tupu's brilliant under a high ball. You've now just added another bloke who can jump 6 foot in the air, who's 7 foot tall. It's pace. The biggest problem for mine is the organisation around the middle of the field with their attack. They're 9, 6 and 7 last year, very rarely gelled as a combination. When they did, they blew teams off the park, but that was their biggest struggle last year.
I think last year was a learning year for Trent Robinson. As funny as that sounds for a bloke that's won 4 comps or whatever he's won, 3 or 4 comps. But I think he tried to fit, tried to fit a few sort of square pegs into round holes, specifically, for example, Brandon Smith. He came to Roosters to be a 80-minute hooker, and you're going to be this, that, and the other. He's not. No. And the minute he went back to being bowling ball cheese, they became a better team, and I think we're going to see more natural, more traditional Brandon Smith this year. He's going to run a lot out dummy half. He's going to spend a little bit of time with Connor Watson on the field, and him playing maybe on an edge or even through the middle. And I think we're going to see more of that. Connor Watson actually a nice in for this team, and I think they're going to be more settled. I think Tedesco's openly said that he tries to do, as we know when he's getting tackled in corners, we've said it for 3 years, when he's getting tackled in corners, Roosters are playing no good. So I think they're going to have a bit more cohesion. Keary and Walker finally found some combinations probably in the last month of last year. And it's actually incredible given how bad the Roosters went at times last year that they still finished, what, 6th? 7th. And I'm going to say that off the back of that, to use a racing parlor and the starting price in the lead-up run, they started favourites last year. I think they're going to get the shit together, and I think and with the cosy draw, they got a great draw, as we said. They're going to rack up a lot of wins. They're going to be, I think they're top 4 now, and I think the growth out of the new players, the Butcher boys, and we haven't talked about Spencer Leniu. I think he's going to. I hope they treat him similar to what they should have done with Brandon Smith, and don't try and make him into a 60-minute prop. Just keep him being.
Let him do what he does.
The bloke's going to come off the bench and change the game
20 minutes of
in
aggression.
half hour. Yeah, and if they do that, then they've just got every angle covered. Thoughts?
Yeah, I've still got a few question marks. You saw at the back end of last year when the Roosters really did start to click, the depth in their back line when they had the ball. Big parts of last year they were playing way too flat, and the ball was very static coming out of the halves. To
your point about Sam Walker's passing game, like it's essentially non-existent bar a rainbow ball, isn't it? Like without
much.
being like
he does have a one he pops off his hip, but there's no sort of selecting that second man runner and that kind of stuff. That's left a lot more to Keary. But they were playing way too flat and getting caught on edges with nowhere to go for big parts of last year, and that's when they did get caught up and they did get beaten by the teams, the better defensive teams that could just shut them down at will, basically, and then turn around and score points against them. They'll be in the fight for the majority of their games, but I've still got a few question marks about them being able to continually score points. I can see them getting a bit flat and getting caught in corners again, which did happen a bit last year. So they do have another option now, a kick-out option to Young on that wing as well, which you'll probably see a lot of tries with that high ball to both wingers.
Well, you got 2 6'6" wingers now,
which just gives you an out if you have played a bad set of 6. But Keary for mine is the biggest question. Keary and Tedesco are the 2 biggest question marks for me in this Roosters side, and how their consistency of play for the season. Okay. It's been a bit of a worry for the last 12 months and maybe longer, and I can see it being a bit sporadic at times this year.
I'm taking the narrative that I'm forgiving some teams a lot of last year in that they had You came off
World
COVID. You
Cup.
had the wacky end of year Origin. Then you had straight into next season. Then you had a World Cup. So you had Teddy. You had blokes like that had no pre-season because then they have to have the
Hadn't had a
mandatory
break in
whatever.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think obviously Angus Crichton had his own issues. He might have been one similar. And I think some of the Melbourne players are similar. I think there's across the board, when we get the Tigers, even some of their forward pack I'll talk about. But I'm saying off proper freshen up with a proper pre-season, we're going to see better from this team. Yeah. Anything else?
I'm coming along for the ride with you, Daggy. I've got them in top 4. Looking across the side, I fail to see them really getting comprehensively beaten in any position on the field. As Barn said, the forward pack is not going to be run over by any team in the comp.
No.
They may lose by a little bit against some of the bigger packs, but they're not going to get destroyed there. They've got just pure talent in Suoliti and Manu and then you've got, again, the giant giraffes that are on each wing. I can't see them getting overawed by anyone, and they will put 50, 60 on a couple of teams.
Yes.
And I've got them finishing top 4. I think Tedesco will be better for the run last year. As he said himself, he tries to do too much and tries to get involved too much. I think this year he might pull it back slightly and be a bit more choosy about the way that he gets involved in certain plays.
Yeah.
And that will help them greatly, not having him dead on his feet 20 minutes into the game because he's trying to be in 6 different spots on the field at any given time.
Yeah. Agree.
That's where we're going next, by the way. And
How the fuck did you get the
I've got them going
Cowboys?
anywhere because up and down, mate. What are you talking about?
Mate, bruv. Titans,
So we went
Titans,
8,
Cowboys.
9,
You said it doesn't matter.
7.
We'll go Cowboys next, and then we're doing Titans, okay?
Sharks.
Where have you got Titans, mate?
Titans. Where did the Titans finish? Titans finished 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they should be only 4 from the top. 17, 6, yeah.
Here's a peek behind the curtain I'm sure everyone wants.
I'd piss, all right? Sorry about
Fuck
that.
me.